I mean, you hit it right there. You kind of hit what I was not going for, but going for at the same time. It's and you're right. A lot of times, physical touch is actually women's primary love language, almost more often than it's men's in a long term relationship because they're seeking a more non sensual touch.
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely. And I think there's a big difference between that. Like obviously when you're getting intimate with your significant other, it's you know, it's going to be physical and it's
Mm-hmm.
going to be
It's
um
intimacy.
yeah, it's just very intimate, but also I think it's very important for non-sensual, you know, non intimate, just physical touching, you know, like a hug or just cuddling around, you know, watching a movie or you know, like just things like that just to remind them like, you know, I'm yours, you
Yep,
know, I'm here.
exactly. Just a kiss on the cheek, a hug from behind, just a kiss, not trying to turn it into a sloppy makeout.
Yeah, yeah,
Just
no,
those small
definitely.
things. Just giving your partner a touch of your love, through skin to skin contact of a kind, and of course, avoiding neglecting them or subjecting them to abuse. I was in this where physical touch, my primary love language, was held against me, and it sucks because my partner didn't speak it the same way I did. But that's the kind of love that I craved and I wanted was non sensual touch. It was just to touch. And
Yeah.
of course that changes when you have kids and whatnot, but it's so often used in relationships between men and women as a leverage tactic because oh well, I can use this as my leverage, and that's subjecting your partner to abuse.
Yeah, and
It's
it's
emotional
also
abuse.
it's one of those things people often will say, "Oh, you're being too clingy," or you know, "Get off me!" Like I don't want you to touch me, but it's just them being tapped out. You know what I mean? Like
Exactly.
they're dealing with a lot and they don't even realize it.
Yeah, and of course, if you're new into a partnership like I would be into, talk about the kind of physical touch that speaks to you. And then, a lot of the times, intimacy is just that for men, like physical touch. We're adults here. We have a lot of adults listening to the podcast, but sex is intimacy for a lot of men. That's like where they feel the intimacy in the relationship. For most men, not all, but most, that's where they feel it is in the bedroom. So just those are just some of the tips for the five love languages on how you can speak them or how you can, I guess, speak them for yourself or how you can speak them with your partner. Aaron, any last thoughts before we get into Would You Rather?
Yeah. I mean, I guess a lot of this is just being vulnerable. You know what I mean? Allow yourself to be vulnerable and to mess up. You know what I mean? You're gonna mess it up, but learn from it. You know what I mean? And nobody's perfect. Nobody's gonna get it right the first time. But like Joel said, just actively listen and if you really care about somebody, you can learn their love language pretty easily.
Yep. And if you need to, take notes. Take notes
Yeah,
early
that's
on in
huge.
your
Yeah.
relationship. Like, have a note in your phone going of, oh, this is their favorite coffee. This is their favorite snack. It's a lot to remember. This is their favorite flower. Write those things down. Commit them to memory. If you really care about this person, you care about your relationship, commit that stuff to memory so that, you show that you were listening and you cared enough to write it down.
Yeah,
you
dude,
know,
it's
so
it helps manage all the stuff that's flying through your head, you know what I mean? So it's a good physical backup, if you will.
exactly. And the more places you have it, you could have it in the back of your head. If you actually have it written down, it's going to be even more committed to your memory because you go to you're in Starbucks line, you're like, oh, I really want to get them something, but I have no clue what to get them. Wait a second.